Imagine this. You've been texting her nonstop, making sure she knows you care, that you're invested, that she's on your mind. Then, out of nowhere, she grows distant. She stops responding the way she used to. Her replies get shorter, colder, delayed. And you feel that knot in your stomach, the panic that maybe she's losing interest, maybe she's slipping away. So you double down. You try harder. You chase. You pour even more energy into her. But here's the brutal truth. The more you lean in, the more she pulls away. Until finally, you snap. You stop reaching out, you go quiet, you give her space. And then, like clockwork, she comes back. Suddenly she's interested again. She starts texting you. She asks what you're up to. She hints at wanting to see you. And you sit there wondering, what the hell just happened? Why does she only seem to want me when I stop giving her attention? You need to understand, this is not random. It's not just women being confusing. There are deep psychological triggers at play here. When you smother her with attention, she feels like she has you under her thumb. There's no tension, no mystery, no challenge. You've already revealed all your cards. She knows you're hooked. And once she knows that, her brain stops fighting for you. Desire evaporates because desire is born in uncertainty. The unknown. The possibility of losing you. When you pull back, even unintentionally, it hits her in the one place she can't ignore, her ego. She starts to feel the vacuum where your energy used to be. And that vacuum pulls her back toward you, because now she's no longer sure she has you. Picture it like this. Imagine she's holding a balloon string. As long as you're clinging tightly to that balloon, she doesn't worry. But the second you let go, and the balloon starts floating out of her reach, she panics. She wants to grab it again. That's why so often, after you give her distance, she suddenly resurfaces. But here's the danger most men don't see. They think her coming back is proof she cares, proof she loves you, proof she's changed. No. In many cases, it's not about love at all. It's about control. She doesn't necessarily want you. She just doesn't want to lose the validation and attention you gave her. So she reels you back in, only to distance herself again once she feels secure. That's the cycle. And unless you wake up to it, you're going to spend months, maybe years, dancing to her rhythm, never realizing how much of your masculine power you've surrendered. So what do you do instead? The first step is awareness. Recognize that her distance isn't always a signal to fight harder. In fact, it's often a test. She's seeing if you'll collapse into neediness or stand firm in your own center. If you chase, you fail the test. If you stay grounded, detached, living your life, you pass. That's when she feels the pull to come back. Not because you manipulated her, but because you refuse to be manipulated. And when she does come back, that's your second test. Do you reward her with immediate validation, pouring yourself into her again? Or do you hold your ground, match her energy, and make her earn back your time and attention? Too many men sabotage themselves here. The moment she shows a spark of interest, they rush in like starving dogs, grateful just to be noticed. That's the fastest way to kill her attraction again. Instead, you need to show restraint. Respond, but don't overinvest. Be warm, but not desperate. Let her feel that you're not waiting around for her approval. This is where men either rise or fall. Because it's not just about her, it's about you. Every time you let her dictate your emotions, you train yourself to be reactive, weak, dependent. But every time you choose not to chase, every time you stay calm in the face of her distance, you build strength. You prove to yourself that you can survive without her validation. And ironically, that's when you become the kind of man women can't resist, because you're not playing their game anymore. Now ask yourself this. How many times have you found yourself in this exact cycle, chasing, losing, pulling back, and then watching her suddenly reappear? How much of your energy has been wasted in that loop? And deeper than that, what part of you is so terrified of losing her that you keep letting the cycle repeat? Have you ever recognized yourself in this exact situation? What happened next? Which one of these toxic behaviors have you faced before? Be specific in the comments. What's the hardest part of walking away when you know she's manipulating you? You know that feeling when you've been sitting there staring at your phone waiting for her to reply? Minutes feel like hours, hours feel like days. You keep checking if she's active, if she's posted a story, if she's seen your message. And then finally she replies, not with the warmth you were hoping for, but with something dry, something half-hearted. And in that moment, you feel it. The imbalance. She has your full attention, but you don't have hers. That's the trap. This is how modern relationships twist your psychology. Attention becomes a currency. And when you're the one overpaying, you become the one undervalued. The more you chase her with constant validation, the more she feels she can withdraw without consequence. She knows you'll still be there, orbiting her like a planet around the sun. But when you stop orbiting, when you step back, suddenly she realizes the warmth she took for granted is gone. And that absence cuts deeper than your presence ever did. Here's the psychology behind it. Human beings don't value what they can't lose. We're wired to chase what's uncertain, what's scarce, what feels like it might slip through our fingers. When you're always available, always pouring out love, affection, and reassurance, you create abundance. She doesn't have to fight for it. And because she doesn't have to earn it, she doesn't treasure it. But when you take a step back, not in anger, not in manipulation, but in true self-possession, you turn abundance into scarcity. And scarcity is magnetic. But let me be clear, distance is not about playing games. If you're just pulling away to make her chase you, you're still trapped in her frame. The key is to actually mean it. You give distance not as a tactic but as a truth, because you refuse to chase someone who isn't matching your energy. You step back because you respect yourself too much to beg for scraps. That's the difference between boys and men. Boys withdraw hoping she'll notice. Men withdraw because they've noticed enough. Now watch what happens when you do this. At first she might not react. She might even act relieved like she's enjoying the break. But deep down, her subconscious is running the numbers. She's asking herself, where did his attention go? Who's getting it now? Why isn't he chasing me anymore? That uncertainty awakens something primal in her. And soon enough, she'll test the waters. Maybe a random text, a like on your photo, a casual "hey stranger." That's her way of checking if she still has the hook in you. This is where men screw up. She tosses out a breadcrumb and they treat it like a feast. They rush back in, overcompensating, trying to prove how ready they are to give her everything again. And the cycle resets. She gets her control back and your value plummets again. If you want to break free, you have to train yourself to recognize these breadcrumbs for what they are. Tests. They're not love. They're not commitment. They're ego checks. And the way you respond determines everything. When she comes back after distance, you must respond with balance. Match her interest, but don't exceed it. If she texts you once, don't blow her up with paragraphs. If she asks what you're doing, don't cancel your plans to run to her. Show her that you're open to connection, but you're not starving for it. That subtle difference is what flips the power dynamic. She realizes she doesn't control you. She realizes she has to bring value to stay in your life. And that's when attraction reignites for real. Here's the deeper layer most men miss. Distance doesn't just change her behavior, it changes yours. When you stop chasing, you start focusing on yourself again. You reclaim the mental energy you've been pouring into her, and you redirect it into your body, your work, your mission. You stop living for her approval, and you start building a life that doesn't revolve around any woman. That's when your confidence shifts from fragile to unshakable. That's when you stop caring whether she comes back at all. And paradoxically, that's when she wants you most. Think back to your own story. How many times have you been guilty of treating breadcrumbs like a banquet? How many times have you dropped everything the second she tossed you a hint of attention? And if you're honest, did it ever make her respect you more, or did it always end the same way, with her pulling away again? Have you ever caught yourself checking your phone every 5 minutes waiting for her reply? When she finally came back after ignoring you, did you play it cool or did you overinvest again? What's harder for you, staying silent when she withdraws, or not rushing in the second she returns? There's a brutal moment every man experiences when he finally realizes she doesn't respect his time. You sit there, noticing how she used to light up when you texted, how she used to be eager to see you, and now, it feels like you're the only one showing up. She cancels plans, she replies when it's convenient, she's suddenly too busy. And you try to rationalize it. Maybe she's stressed, maybe work is crazy, maybe she just needs space. But deep down you know the truth. She doesn't value you the same way you value her. And here's the twist. The very second you stop rewarding that behavior, the very second you detach and put your energy back into yourself, she comes back around. Why? Because modern dating is full of unspoken power games. Most women won't admit this out loud, but they test you constantly. They want to see if your desire for them outweighs your self-respect. They want to know if you'll keep giving even when they stop giving back. And most men fail this test. They keep pouring in, thinking persistence equals love. But persistence in the face of disrespect isn't love, it's weakness. Think of it like this. When you chase after someone who's pulling away, you're basically teaching them they can mistreat you without consequences. You're signaling, my need for you is stronger than my need for respect. That's why she keeps doing it. Not because she's evil, not because she's heartless, but because you've shown her the boundaries don't exist. But the second you stop chasing, the second you make her absence irrelevant to your life, the test flips. Suddenly she's the one scrambling to prove her value again. I've seen it play out 100 times. A guy is devastated when a girl grows distant. He calls me, tells me she's lost interest, says it's over. I tell him, good, let it be over, stop reaching out, stop giving her energy she hasn't earned. And you know what happens? A week later, sometimes less, she's blowing up his phone. Suddenly she wants to see him. Suddenly she's sorry for being distant. Suddenly she remembers how amazing he was. But here's the truth. She didn't forget how amazing he was. She just stopped respecting him when he was willing to hand himself over without her effort. And this is where the real discipline comes in. When she circles back, you don't punish her, you don't lash out, you don't play childish games. But you also don't roll over. You don't treat her return like salvation. You hold steady. You let her actions, not her words, prove if she's really investing this time. That means watching if she initiates, if she shows up, if she makes effort. If she doesn't, you don't chase. You let her fade again and you keep living your life. That's how you train yourself to stop being a puppet to her moods. Because here's the ugly cost of failing this lesson. If you keep rewarding withdrawal with more effort, you'll eventually lose yourself completely. You'll become the guy who measures his worth in how quickly she texts back. You'll become the guy who rearranges his whole life just to maybe keep her happy for a moment. And once you're that guy, she won't just lose interest. She'll lose all respect. And without respect, no amount of love, no amount of passion, no amount of history will save the relationship. But when you master distance, when you stop fearing her silence, you unlock something she can't resist. Masculine indifference. Not coldness, not cruelty. Indifference. The kind of quiet strength that says, I want you, but I don't need you. I like you, but I'll be fine without you. That is the frame women test for, over and over. And when you finally embody it, her games lose all power. So think about it. How many times have you kept giving when she stopped? How many times did you ignore the disrespect because you were scared she'd leave? And if you look back honestly, didn't she pull away anyway? Didn't she come back only when you finally pulled your energy back to yourself? Have you ever realized you were rewarding her distance with even more effort? When she came back after pulling away, did you make her earn her place again, or did you hand it right back? What's harder for you, letting her go when she disrespects you, or holding the line when she returns? There's a moment you'll never forget. The first time you actually pulled back, not as a game, but because you were fed up. You stopped texting first. You stopped rearranging your schedule. You stopped bending over backwards just to keep her interested. At first, you felt uneasy, like you were doing something wrong. But then something strange happened. She noticed. Suddenly, she was the one reaching out. Suddenly, she was the one asking when you were free. Suddenly, she was the one putting in effort. And you realized something most men never do. She didn't come back because you proved yourself. She came back because you stopped trying to prove yourself. Here's the psychology most men miss. When you're constantly available, she doesn't have to wonder about you. There's no uncertainty, no tension, no spark. Attraction is fueled by the unknown. The fear of losing you is often stronger than the comfort of having you. That's why distance works. It forces her to face the possibility that she's not the center of your world. And that unsettles her enough to come back. But here's the trap. When she comes back, most men collapse. They take her return as confirmation of love, of loyalty, of permanence. They open their arms too wide, too fast, and within days, sometimes hours, she slips back into the same pattern. Distant, distracted, detached. Because deep down, she didn't come back out of genuine love. She came back to resecure her hold on you. And once she feels safe again, she no longer has to chase. That's why you can't just give distance once. You have to live in a way where distance is your natural state when respect is absent. That doesn't mean being cold. It doesn't mean being heartless. It means refusing to overgive. Refusing to explain yourself endlessly. Refusing to bend every time she bends away. It means letting her feel the cost of pulling back, without you trying to fix it for her. Picture this. She ignores your message for 2 days. Old you would have double texted, maybe even apologized for something you didn't do, just to get her attention. New you? You do nothing. You live your life. You go to the gym, meet your boys, grind on your mission. And when she finally texts, you don't punish her, but you don't throw her a parade either. You answer calmly, you keep it light, you keep it moving. You match her effort, nothing more. That balance makes her realize she can't just disappear and reappear without cost, and slowly she learns. If she wants to keep your presence, she has to keep investing. Now let's be clear. Some women can't handle this. Some are so used to controlling men with attention games that when you stop playing, they'll leave for good. And that's exactly what you want, because if her only connection to you was control, losing her isn't a loss. It's freedom. But the women who actually value you, the ones who feel a deeper attraction, will respond differently. They'll rise to the challenge, they'll step up. They'll put in more effort, because they recognize they can't take you for granted. And here's the shift you need to embrace. Distance isn't about her. It's about you. It's about breaking the habit of giving more than you receive. It's about retraining yourself to stop chasing what doesn't chase you. It's about protecting your time, your energy, your focus, like the priceless resources they are. When you live that way, women feel it. They know they can't toy with you. They know you're not afraid to lose them. And that's when they respect you. So I'll ask you, how many times have you mistaken her coming back as proof of love instead of proof of control? How many times have you welcomed her with open arms, only to watch her drift again within days? And what would change in your life if you stopped collapsing into her arms every time she resurfaced, and instead made her earn her place in your life? Have you ever mistaken her sudden return as genuine love? When she came back, did you hold your ground, or did you hand over all your power again? What would it take for you to finally stop being grateful for breadcrumbs and start demanding respect? Every man knows the sickening weight of overthinking when she goes quiet. You replay the last conversation in your head like a broken record. Did I say something wrong? Did I text too much? Did I not text enough? You start dissecting every emoji, every delay, every unread message as if it's some puzzle you need to solve. But here's the hard truth. While you're spinning your wheels trying to decode her silence, she's not thinking about you at all. She's living her life. And that's the first shift you have to make. Stop assuming her distance is always about you. Sometimes it's about her. Sometimes it's about control. Sometimes it's about testing whether you'll break your frame. See, women instinctively know this. The man who can't tolerate space is the man they control. If she can vanish for a day and you spiral, she knows she owns you. That's why she comes back after you give her distance, because your ability to stay calm under pressure exposes something most men lack: self-possession. She feels it when you don't chase. She feels it when your world doesn't collapse without her. And that contrast is intoxicating. Think of it like a poker game. The player who shows desperation loses. If you're sitting there sweating, showing your hand, shoving chips into the pot, the other side knows you're weak. But if you can fold, if you can lean back and wait, if you can bet from a position of calm, you become dangerous. Relationships are no different. Women respect the man who can fold. They respect the man who isn't afraid of the empty chair. But let's get tactical here. What does this look like in practice? It means no double texting when she hasn't replied. No passive-aggressive "guess you're busy" messages. It means not rearranging your weekend just because she suddenly decides she's free. It means when she pulls away, you don't chase, you mirror. You match her energy, no more, no less. And while she's distant, you fill that time with things that make you stronger. Lifting, building, working, creating. Because the distance isn't just for her, it's for you. It's the training ground where you rewire your instincts. Here's what most men don't realize. The hardest part of distance isn't her silence. It's your silence. It's resisting the urge to reach out, to explain yourself, to fix it. Your nervous system screams for action because doing nothing feels unbearable. But that exact moment, when you want to text, call, beg, that's the moment you either grow or collapse. Every time you hold the line, every time you sit with the discomfort instead of acting on it, you get stronger. You prove to yourself you can survive without her reassurance. And that's the real win. Because here's what happens when she comes back. And she will come back. If you've held steady, she comes back to a different man. Not the needy boy she could toy with, but the man who showed her he can live without her. And that shakes her. It forces her to reevaluate. That's when she starts putting in more effort, because deep down she knows she can't play the same games anymore. But if you collapse, if you break the silence first, you train her to keep testing. You show her you're predictable, that she only has to withdraw to get more attention. And so the cycle repeats. So let me ask you straight. How many times have you panicked and reached out first, only to regret it later? How many times have you mistaken your anxiety for love, when really it was just fear of being alone? And what would your relationships look like if you finally mastered the art of holding silence, not as punishment, but as proof of your strength? Have you ever broken your silence too soon and instantly regretted it? When she came back, did she respect you more, or did she test you harder the next time? What's the longest you've ever been able to hold the line and let her come to you? There's a moment every man secretly fears. When she finally pulls back so far you feel like she's gone. That silence feels like death. You start thinking, if I don't do something now, I'll lose her forever. That fear is what keeps most men trapped. They don't realize that clinging tighter in that moment doesn't save the relationship. It strangles it. Because the truth is, no woman leaves a man she truly respects just because he didn't chase her for a week. She leaves when she realizes he has no backbone. When she realizes she can tug on his emotions like a puppet string. And this is why she comes back after distance. Because true masculine strength isn't loud, it isn't desperate, it isn't clingy. It's quiet indifference. It's the ability to let go without theatrics. It's the ability to say with your actions, I want you here, but I'll never beg you to stay. That energy unnerves her, because while most men crumble when faced with uncertainty, you don't. And that makes you rare. Here's something most won't tell you. Sometimes she'll disappear not because she's lost interest, but because she wants to see if you'll collapse. She wants to know if you'll get angry, insecure, obsessive. She wants to measure your emotional strength. And when you don't take the bait, when you stay calm, keep living your life, keep investing in yourself, she feels something she can't fake, respect. And respect is the foundation of attraction. But let's be clear, respect doesn't mean you tolerate nonsense. If she disappears for weeks, if she treats you like an option, you don't just wait around. Distance doesn't mean patience, it means evaluation. You ask yourself, does this woman actually deserve my time? Does she add value to my life, or is she just draining it? Because the power of distance isn't just making her chase, it's giving you clarity. It's breaking the addiction to her presence long enough for you to see the truth about her character. Here's the danger. A lot of men mistake her return as proof that she loves them. They think, she came back so she must care. But coming back doesn't always mean she cares. Sometimes it means she's bored. Sometimes it means she needs attention. Sometimes it means the other guy didn't work out. If you don't use distance to build discernment, you'll fall into the trap of thinking every return is a fresh start, and then the cycle just repeats. So here's how you break it. When she comes back, don't hand her the same man she left. Hand her a man who's leveled up. A man who spent the silence building muscle, stacking money, finding purpose. A man who doesn't just say he's fine without her, he shows it. That way, when she tries to play the same games, they don't work anymore. She either has to step up or step out. And either outcome is a win for you. Because here's the final truth. The point of distance isn't to get her back. It's to get yourself back. To reclaim the focus, the discipline, the pride you gave away when you started orbiting her like she was the center of your universe. She's not. You are. And when you finally live that way, she feels it. Every woman feels it. That's why she comes back. Not because you begged, not because you proved yourself, but because you stopped needing her. So let me ask you, how many times have you mistaken her return for real love when it was just convenience? How many times have you let her back in without seeing if she actually changed? And what would it feel like to finally let her come back? Not because you're desperate for her attention, but because you're evaluating if she even deserves yours. Have you ever let a woman back into your life only to realize she hadn't changed at all? When she reappeared, did you test her commitment, or did you just hope for the best? What would your life look like if, for once, you were the one who decided if she stayed? She didn't break you. She revealed what you were too afraid to protect.